In certain extreme situations, the law is inadequate. In order to shame its inadequacy, it is necessary to act outside the law, to pursue natural justice. This is not vengeance. Revenge is not a valid motive, it's an emotional response. No, not vengeance. Punishment.
Tonight we have a chance to say, yeah, you're right. We're too extreme, we're too wild, we're too out of control, we're too full of our own shit. Or we have a chance to say, hey, fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, we're right. Because you have all made it to the dance. Because believe me, this is the dance. Start the show.
And before we even get started, there's funeral director with a couple of bucks with the news we were going to break. Do you like my shirt? I brought the shirt back just for you guys. I figured you'd want it. What? I figure you'd like it. It really is. It's a fucking eyesore. There's no getting around that. This looks like... This is loud. I don't know, though. It does make my hair... Let me say this, and I hope you know what I'm trying to say here. It makes this shirt, and I hope you agree, this shirt makes my hairline make more sense. Does that... Do you understand what I'm trying to get at when I say that? Like, this shirt makes that you go, oh, yeah, of course. This makes sense. No, Doom, I'm not talking about the job it does hiding the tit. I don't need to hide my tits. By the way, 221 this morning. 221 this morning. Not bad. 6 pounds away. You know, if I just keep golfing more and stop going to the gym, all muscle mass that I have on my body will go away, and I'll get back down to a really unhealthy 215 or 210. That'll be good. Hey, where there's a will, there's a way. Funeral director with $2. Trump just tweeted ceasefire between Iran and Israel. We'll get to that. Funeral director also with $2 says, Miami Vice, badass shirt, bro. It is very much a Miami Vice shirt. And thank you, No Pen 15 Fathead, for the $2. Thank you, guys. We're going to start tonight at 185. We're going to start tomorrow morning's show at less than that. The morning audience went fucking crazy tits. They went insane this morning. Doom says, you look 243. Through the eyes of someone filled with hate and filled with envy, Doom, you would see me at 243. I understand it. I get it. By the way, this is medicinal alcohol that I'm having tonight. I need it because my voice is going away. So I made just about the spiciest fucking drink I could figure to make. And that is a horseradish Bloody Mary with Kansas City, my own Kansas City dry rub as the rim. And it's, I went somewhere today. I went to pick up some energy drinks and some laundry detergent, some other shit. I just had some odds and ends, a little errand to run today. And I was talking to the person at the checkout, and when I tried to talk, it came out like that. It came out really bad. I was like, oh, fuck. So I just rested my voice all afternoon. And then for tonight's show, I made myself a Monday alcoholic beverage. And you get a little bit of the dry rub. And then a little bit of that Four Brothers horseradish mix. I can't recommend it enough. It's a non-alcoholic Bloody Mary mix. It's by a brand called Four Brothers which I believe is local here to central Minnesota. And honestly, like, I haven't had vodka in my house for a long time. I was kind of off the Bloody Marys. I will drink that Bloody Mary mix over ice by itself. It's that good. Rocco, I don't know what you mean by Aaron loves licking the rim. You mean of the glass on a Bloody Mary? Yeah, of course. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Rusty Grammer says, Aaron looks like he washed that shirt with lavender and chamomile detergent. It's a nice shirt. It's a little loud, but it makes me feel vacation-y. Walls Balls wants to know, did you finish your book this morning? I want to have a little talk about the book. Now, I am going to honor, just for the evening show, it dies tonight. I'm going to honor the reading deal with the impressions and everything else. People seem to really like it this morning. I'm going to honor it, but it's about to get really fucky, and I really, without an impression to do, I really don't just want to straight read a fuck book tonight. Something happened where somebody sent this book to Cheetos to give to me. And I thought it was like a documentary book, like it was telling us the story of what is it? Of Naked Twister. Like it was like there's an underground lore around Naked Twister. It turns out that it's just a fuck book. It's called Naked Twister, an erotic adventure. Now, I thought the erotic adventure part was like, here's the adventure of Naked Twister throughout history. And then I told the audience, $10 and we'll read a sentence, $20 we'll read a paragraph, $50 we'll read a whole page. And I start getting through it this morning, and I realize I'm reading my audience a fuck book. And a really douchey fuck book at that. And it was kind of one of those, crossing the Rubicon point of no return things. So we're going to keep that offer on the table for tonight. And then after that, it's gone. It's done. Ivana Tinkle says, did SP pick that, or is that all your choice? Well, here's how that went. So she thought she kind of almost dared me to get this shirt. Not this particular one, but she's like, because I didn't have like a loud Florida vacation hack shirt. And she kind of like joked about it as if I wouldn't do it. And so I said, fuck you. I did it. And I just got it because I want a loud Florida shirt too. I think she regrets fucking pushing me on that deal. Just a little. Just a little. Let's go continue. I'm not going to say go to. Power Windows says, that book brought you a lot of cash, bro. Don't deny it. Keep up the grift. Oh, no. The Naked Twister grift is still going today. It got away from me is all. I thought it was going to be like, a documentary. But instead, it just, again, it turned out to be a fuck book. What do you want? Professor Tie-Dye says, Aaron puts the tard in retarded. JH says, Aaron, you need to search the new movie trailer, Guns and Moses. It's a Jewish action movie. Okay, fucking awesome. Weird, but awesome. And I guess now's the time. Now's the time. Ride and Dirty Llama says, it's my favorite shirt. It's back. It is. It is indeed. I'm very excited to be where I got out of the shower before the show. I am a sex symbol, so I do, I want to make sure everybody's good and horny when they watch this show. I got out of the shower and I went into the closet and I just hid there and cried. I went into the closet and I said, this is comfortable for me. I saw the shirt hanging there. I go, when else am I going to wear this shirt other than on an evening show where we're hanging out with the chat and talking some shit? So I put on this shirt, and so far, I do not regret it. I do not regret it. All right, man. Let's get down to business. We got a ceasefire. You know what? We'll get to the ceasefire in a little bit. First, we didn't get to the Charleston White Island Boys thing. Charleston White became kind of an internet hero over the weekend. Aiden Ross had a boxing event. You know, there's no creator clash, so Aiden Ross having his boxing event is the next best thing. And he had this Charleston White, who's like 50 years old. He's an older black dude. And he fought one of the Island Boys. Now, the Island Boys are, like, done. And, you know, a lot of these people, when they catch a little bit of internet fame, it's anything to hang on to it. Like, anything you can do to hang on to it, whether it's, you know, Fish. I think a good example of that is Fish Tank. You know, you have the people on Fish Tank who, like, Airsoft Fatty was on there. Frank Hassel was on there. Some people, they get a little taste of it and they can't let it go. The Island Boys are one of them. So the Island Boys guy, Kodak or something, I don't remember their two names. Nobody should. He fought Charleston White. Now, I believe the Island Boys are like in their early 20s, and Charleston White is about 50. And look, as someone with a boxing background, I will tell you, it was fucking embarrassing to watch this. I mean, if you're like, you know, in advance that you're going to be doing one of these like YouTuber boxing events, fucking train, learn some shit, get a good, you know, it takes at least 6 to 8 months of solid sparring to be ready for an actual match. At least I tell people I recommend a year of sparring before you actually get in the ring. I know for my first fight, I had like 3.5 months, and you're just not ready. So, but then you watch these guys throw punches and you go, did you even do any kind of ring work? Did you even do any kind of training? Let's watch the Island Boy taking on he's Kodak, and he's taking on Charleston White at an event that Aiden Ross and Kick hosted over the weekend. This is Charleston White versus the Island Boy, and the Island Boy guy is a fucking pussy. He's terrible. You're going to see him take a punch that I think most of you could probably take. And he cried and quit because of it. Like, look at these punches are stopping in midair. And, you know, a lot of people would look at this and go, oh, my God, the fight must be fixed. No, these are just two guys who don't know how to box. They got some Kick Aiden Ross money thrown at them, and they agreed to get in a ring, and neither of them did anything to prepare. Like, these punches, watch Charleston White throw, I can't remember if it was a backhand here or a jab, but he throws a punch, and it stops right in front of the Island Boy's face. Now, first of all, awful. All of this is wrong. All of this is just begging to get knocked out. Look at that. That punch right there, it stopped in midair. Oh, no, I paused it too much. God damn it, I hate when I do that. Oh, here we go. Now look, that last one that Charleston White landed, and he is winning the fight, good for him, but that last one was a push. Like, it wasn't even a punch, he just pushed his fist into the Island Boy's face, and it was enough to back him up. Now, you might have heard that smack with that punch the Island Boy landed. That didn't do anything. People look at those arm punches and they go, oh, that was a big shot. Anything that's all arm punch has nothing behind it. You can drop your hands at your side and you can take those all day long. They sound good. They look crazy. They do no damage. And you know, a lot of boxing purists, they don't like this. I'm supposed to not like this. I think it's all in good fun. I don't think anybody looks at Charleston White as a threat to like ruin boxing because he doesn't know what he's doing. I think we all kind of go into these silly sideshow internet boxing things knowing that that the sideshow is an element of it and that we're not going to see Canelo Crawford. We're out over our front foot on everything. He's jumping in the air now and throwing punches. So that was, by the way, that was just the end of the first round. Now that you cannot do. You are not allowed to hook a guy around the arm and throw him to the canvas. Now that's another thing the ref should be stopping. You can't put your forearm on a guy's head and push. That's illegal as well. Now look at that. That was it. That punch, you might have missed it. That punch landed for Charleston White, and that was enough to get the Island Boy guy to quit. You'll see. What? Look, that punch, that was it. And he walked away and like he wouldn't engage in the fight anymore, so the ref just called it. He doesn't want to keep fighting. So Charleston White ends up winning, and everyone following this online, I mean, this was one of those unanimous deals where everybody hates the Island Boys. Everybody thinks the Island Boys are a bunch of assholes. So, they're all rooting for Charleston White. But what a gay way for a fight to end. Like, what a gay way for a fight to go, like, you've been punching him all night. And when you've been punching a guy all night, you land one little nothing left hand, and he quits on you. That's it. Professor Tie-Dye with $1 says, is that the gay Island Boy? That means Aaron has one more thing in common with him. I think they're both the gay Island Boys, aren't they? I think they're both gay Island Boys. Didn't they say something like, they're brothers, right? Didn't they say something about like they made out together or something like that? It's really the whole Island Boy thing. Like they made that one little song, and you know what used to happen was like in the early internet days, you'd have one song, you'd get 15 minutes of fame, and then you'd go away. But now you get the 15 minutes of fame, and you can find little corners, little holes in the internet that you can dig into, and that you can like hang around longer than you should. And that's kind of what the Island Boys did. And then you get addicted to that and you don't want to let it go. So there's nothing you won't do. Like you've got Fish Tank, you've got everything the Island Boys have been doing. Amanda Bynes just did some crazy video where she said, I'm on Ozempic so I can start walking red carpets again. And then there's, God damn it. I was going to say the person's name instead of Amanda Bynes, and I probably should have because now I forgot. And they're kind of doing everything they can to stay in the limelight. Shit. It's kind of like on that Amanda Bynes level where they'll just kind of, Bam Margera's kind of that way, where it's just so addicting that you can't walk away from it. So if they say, hey, go get beat up by a 50-year-old guy and we'll pay you for it and you'll get a little more time in the limelight, they'll do it. God, I wish I could remember the fucking dude I was thinking of. Some people are saying JoJo Siwa in the chat. I didn't really follow JoJo Siwa when she was really, really big. But yeah, I guess when you do Celebrity Big Brother and you do shows like that, yeah, at that point you're kind of doing what you can to hang in there, aren't you? I suppose. All right, we're ready to get into the Iran stuff. Let's do it. We're 185 away from tonight. Let's do some damage. The top four is like I said, they went fucking ape shit today. We got a lot of 20s and a lot of 25s. But what we have right now is Steven in first place with a massive 200. He wanted 4 pages today. We've got Brian in second place with 57. We've got Main Vein in third with 50. And then you've got Redbird in fourth. Oh, with 52, somebody fucked up the math. That somebody was me. Redbird is at 52, which would put Main Vein in fourth at 50. There we go. Main Vein and 50. Perfect. There we go. And there's your top 4. And then you've got the Captain Joe's on a wall. You've got Hulkamasha Baby, Doggo, Miss Tay, and a bunch of other people tied in the 20 to 25 range. 185 is the number for today. Like I said, crazy fucking show this morning. Crazy show. We appreciate. And then we ended it over on Rumble with that Nick Fuentes 40-minute history of Iran video. And I'm glad I'm not the only one. There were a lot of people online today, a lot of people on Twitter saying, like, I don't like that I'm agreeing with Nick Fuentes on a bunch of shit. I don't like that Nick Fuentes is, like, kind of knocking it out of the park and nailing it with a lot of this coverage. But he is, and you can't act like he isn't just because you think he's a weird fucking gay plant. But this is kind of his wheelhouse. Like, Israel is kind of his thing. Israel is Nick Fuentes' bread and butter. This is what he fascinates on constantly. So he did this 40-minute history of Israel thing, and it all checks out. It's all accurate. It's all true. And the more you dig, the more you realize, oh shit, you know what? Maybe Mossad did have something to do with the assassination of John F. Kennedy, because boy, did we shape up and support the shit out of Israel after that. And then, of course, a lot of the, Israelis who, from the Likud party, who were talking about how Israel needs to go on the offensive against all of these countries. Those people ended up in the George W. Bush administration, and then we ended up, between him and Obama, toppling all those countries. Remember, the neocons, the neoconservatives from the 90s and 2000s were liberals. They were socialists. They were, they were Soviet Union sympathizers. And when the Soviets took Syria's side against Israel, they all moved over to the Republican Party in the United States. And, we got a post 9/11 world after that. But we did get some good news. We got some good news on the Israel front today. Donald Trump announced just before the show started a ceasefire to what they're now calling the 12-day war, as Israel and Iran agree to the complete ceasefire. This is what had to happen today. So, as we know, over the weekend, the United States bombs Iran. Iran got to launch a bunch of missiles at Qatar today towards American bases. Now, what we're hearing is that they didn't hit, they were intercepted, whatever. But at least Iran got to save face. They got to launch missiles. Qatar was not real cool with missiles being launched across their borders. So they talked to Iran, 2 Muslim countries talking it out. Qatar got Iran to agree to a ceasefire. We got Israel to agree to a ceasefire, and hopefully that's going to be it. It sounds like tonight, for the next 5 or 6 hours, both nations are going to finish what they're calling their final missions. So they're all going to launch their last missiles, and then Iran will initiate the ceasefire, and Israel will follow 12 hours later. The war will be officially considered over after 24 hours. That's what we're hearing now. So, it's not the worst result. It's not the worst result in the world. I would have rather we didn't bomb Iran at all. I would have rather we didn't get involved at all. But, here we are. And hopefully whatever we needed to do, we got it out of our system. The ceasefire takes. We have peace. It does. I don't want to say it too loud. I don't want everyone to say it too loud. But it does kind of make Iran look like a bitch. Like everybody just got to take a piece out of their ass. And then they had to accept a ceasefire. So, I hate to say it, but Steven Crowder had a decent idea this morning when he said, what America should do is get Iran to agree to nuclear inspectors, have the inspectors go in, and then we tell Israel, all right, we did your fucking dirty work. This is the last time. The inspectors are in there. They're not going to get a nuke. They've agreed not to do a nuke. We're not coming in next time. You are on your fucking own. Now, that's a great take, and I'd love if that were the case, but I give that about a 0.2% chance of ever happening, ever. I think this accomplished two things, this 12-day war. One, Israel got to weaken Iran, which is what they wanted. And two, it kept the Jeffrey Epstein shit out of the news. The Jeffrey Epstein stuff was really starting to heat up. The MAGA base really was starting to say, hey, why hasn't this come out yet? You said you had it. You know, Kash Patel now says there's no stuff with kids on there. Pam Bondi was saying she'd seen the videos, and there's a bunch of shit with kids on there. Why don't you guys release all this stuff and we'll figure it out? Then all of a sudden, Iran starts getting bombed by Israel. We send over a few B-2 bombers, and all of a sudden, nobody's talking about Epstein anymore. I hope once this is over, we can have that discussion again and hopefully get those files released. But again, I'm not holding my breath. I don't like turning purple. So the war seems to be over. Trump's bragging about it. It's not the worst end scenario. If this is indeed the end of it, it's not the worst case scenario. It could have been far worse than this. And at least our involvement was limited. It's not, as of right now, it's not a big, American ground war in the Middle East. Israel's mullahs can now, or Israel's mullahs, as if. Iran's mullahs can now go, hey, we stopped the Israelis. They didn't overthrow our government. Look at all these foreign powers that are coming in here attacking us. They can try to get their people to rally around the mullahs and the Ayatollah. They can get people to rally around the flag a little bit. Maybe it helps unity inside of Iran. Israel can hopefully shut the fuck up about this nuclear program shit. And America can go back to pretending they have a fucking set of balls on them and can say no to a country when it's not in our best interest. Somebody said that it was like a mafia hit. That like America did like, today I settle all family business. And then we got the ceasefire and that was it. I hope. I tend to agree with Rocco. It's all bullshit optics. Mr. Beat says the mullahs live for this shit. I mean, again, you do get to go to your people and you get to go, Israel came at us, America came at us. You can spin it however you want. You can say they wanted to overthrow our government. They wanted to get rid of the Ayatollah. We forced them to stop. We forced them back, whatever. And the war is over. We were attacked. We ended the war. They can declare their victory or whatever it is. Rocco says the whole thing is bullshit optics. Trump told Iran the bunker busters were coming. Well, and, the whole thing was like, Israel's like, yeah, they're going to develop a nuke really soon. So we need the bunker busters to stop these underground nuclear facilities. Well, that never happened. But apparently Israel's still happy and they're happy to call a ceasefire. I agree with Rocco. There's bullshit optics going on over there. I mean, there's just a lot of horse shit that's going on. 500 trillion Zimbabwean dollars towards the goal. Says, I am a huge UFO nut. I hope if they get desperate enough to take attention away from Epstein, they'll unleash the aliens. Oh, my. Not the aliens. I mean, that's when you're in a whole heaping pile of shit is when they bring out. If we see the aliens come out, you'll know that they really don't want that Epstein stuff coming out there. Switchblade Proper with $2. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, I'm not convinced Israel or Iran agreed to peace. This just lays the pretense for regime change. Oh, Iran didn't keep the peace deal? Regime change. Well, look. You could be right there, too. I just want this damn thing to end. I hope it's over. I hope it's done with. But, the way you lay it out could absolutely... It wouldn't be the first time we've pulled shit like that. 500 trillion Zimbabwean dollars says they say we do shit to them anyway. We might as well actually bomb them. That's one way to look at it. Rusty Grammar says the Middle East is a gigantic shithole. Just nuke all of it. Glass is expensive. Let's make window replacement cheap again. I mean, Johnny and I were talking about it today when we were watching that Fuentes video. There is one country that you could remove from historical existence, and there probably would be a lot of peace in the Middle East. And it ain't Iran. It ain't Iran. Iran is not. When you look at the history of how all these wars start, the Yom Kippur War, the 6 Days War, all of this stuff, a lot of it usually starts with Israel going, hey, I bet you we can fuck up Egypt real quick. You know, really, the way they started this war with Iran is kind of Israel's MO. It's, hey, I bet you we could sneak a quick surprise attack and we could fuck these guys up and we could grab some land out of the deal. You know, and then Syria and Egypt try it during the Yom Kippur War on October 6th of 71. I can't quite recall. I'm sorry, my dates are fuzzy. But Syria and Egypt try it, and then all of a sudden Israel goes, oh, they're bad guys. They did a sneak attack. It's like, well, yeah, they're stealing from your playbook. What do you want? So you watch the documentaries on how the Zionists created Israel, how they've preserved Israel, how they've expanded Israel, how the Likud party just totally ignored Palestinians and just went, fuck it. We're going to expand our borders any way we can. Let's get aggressive. And I got to say, there seems to be one group you can place an inordinate amount of blame on for a lot of these wars in the Middle East. 5 trillion Zimbabwean dollars towards the goal. Thank you, buddy. He says, best wishes to you this week, Towman. I am very excited to close this chapter of my life. I'm very excited to put it all to bed. I have something written that I'm very proud of that I think will surprise a lot of people. I talked to my lawyer today. We're all good to go. Everything's all set. Just looking at the old clock now and running her down. Thank you, pal. 180 away from tonight. Go ahead and drop them in. Let's get another win for the toe. It was a wild morning, and we want you evening people to keep pace with the morning people. Rocco with a good point here says, imagine going to school for years and years to become a nuclear engineer, and the Americans kill you for it. I know. We were talking about that last week. We were like, imagine you're just some fucking scientist, and you're just checking gauges, and you got a clipboard, and you're looking at, radioactive isotope levels, and you're just checking shit. And then all of a sudden you go, you hear something? And then just blows everybody to shit. And again, all you did was, like Rocco said, all you did was become a nuclear engineer. All you did was just get an education. All you did was be really smart, and you want to work on literally like nuclear rocket science. And a fucking Jewish plane comes by and just fucking blows you and your friends up. I got to do this one from Hobo. This one's pretty good. He says, nice shirt. You look like the fat guy in the Punisher movie singing opera. You mean Bumbo? That would be Bumbo. Dago Doesn't Die says, you pit the night crew against the morning crew, just like Israel pits everyone against the U.S. Am I being a little Israeli right now? Well, it works for them. They get all kinds of money, right? They get all kinds of money. Maybe it'll work for me. 180 away from today. Rocco says, at least they get to skip the student loan. It's a good point. They don't have to pay that shit. Hulkamasha Baby says, you think they hear the missiles? That Hellfire was guided on by an F-35 that had been watching them for an hour. All right, you're right. For the sake of my joke, I thought hearing a missile while you're checking nuclear gauges would be kind of funny, but I mean, if we're going to fact check it with, well, actually the Hellfire missiles launched from an F-35 travel at Mach 1.7, and at that speed, you're not really going to hear anything. It's really going to hit before the sound really makes any kind of hint that you're being under attack. Thanks. All right. How about the Persian nuclear engineer died suffocating under rubble. Is that better? Just want to be accurate, that's all. God, Bloody Marys are hard to drink on the air. There's a whole process to them with the seasoning and spice and everything else. Mr. Beat says, supposedly the enrichment plants are 300 feet or more underground. Putin said the facilities were untouched by the bunker busters. Oh, great. Well, then we can always go back in. I'm kidding. I hope we don't. All right, let's continue on. We've got a lot of media personalities and their big hot takes on the Israel-Iran thing and America bombing Iran. Of course, like if you're an America first Trump person, like I consider myself, this fucking sucked. And what's really going to fucking suck about it is that the pro-war, pro-Israel segment of the Trump supporters is going to be emboldened by this because they're going to go, see, it's kind of like when we killed that Iranian general on the tarmac at the Iraqi airport. They're going to be able to point at it and go, see, quick surgical strike, one time, they give up, don't fuck with the United States. Yeah, I know, but it's just another example of this country bending to Israel's will because at first, Trump was saying, no, we don't need to get involved. Our intelligence services were saying they're not trying to build a bomb, and Trump sold our intelligence services down the river as if they're not pissed at him enough. I mean, they've tried to kill him for Christ's sake. Our intelligence services said they weren't trying to build a bomb. Then all of a sudden, Mark Levin goes into the White House. Bibi Netanyahu goes into the White House. And now Donald Trump is all about bombing Iran for Israel. And then the thing is over in a couple of days. So now they all think that doing this kind of shit is awesome. It's a good outcome for the fact that we don't have to get bogged down in another Middle Eastern war. It sets a bad precedent for more American intervention, which I don't like. Rocco's full of good takes today. He says, I bet nobody's signing up for the next semester. People will be swapping to economic spending. Yeah, there's going to be a lot less people lining up in Iran to sign up for the nuclear program. Gray Duckling with $50. Throw that man an Olbermann. Let me find it first. There we go.
They are afraid.
Now that puts Gray Duckling at $70 for this week. So we got to get him up into the top. Oh, that puts him in second. Gray Duckling is at 70. Brian is in third at 57. Redbird is in fourth at 52. And now let's put Main Vein in fifth at $50. And thank you very much, Gray Duckling, for your incredible generosity. That's going to put us, I believe, at 125 for tonight. Thank you so much. That is, again, incredibly generous. Let me get that updated. And I also owe a page now in Naked Twister. Oh, shit, and wouldn't you know it, there's Crunchy with $50. Crunchy says, nah, you look like Wayne Knight in that shirt. Say, no. Thank you, Crunchy, for the 50. All right. So two $50 drops coming in means I have to do 2 pages of Naked Twister. I really don't want to do this. One more Olbermann, by the way. This one for Crunchy. Here we go.
They are afraid.
It also puts us $90 away from tonight. Wow, would you look at that? Thank you so much. Keep it going. Now, a couple 5s at a time, and we'll have this thing all hammered out. So coming up, we've got Matt Gaetz and his take on the Iran stuff. Anna Kasparian with a great take. The Young Turks have actually been killing it. And Ben Shapiro gives... You're going to be shocked at whether or not... Ben Shapiro was for or against America striking the Iran nuclear facilities. Hobo Chili with $1 says, put me on the board, fatso. Your shirt looks like Faye Afterbirth after your queer lover pops out a butt baby. A lot of people might consider that hateful. Thank you. Mr. Beat says the Dusty Rhodes voice when reading it was hilarious. Well, neither Crunchy nor Gray Duckling gave me a voice to do. So I think I just have to straight up read Naked Twister. MSO says that's a fake Crunchy. Everyone knows Crunchy is dead. Crunchy is not dead. Crunchy, do another 50 just to show him you're alive. Gray Duckling says 2 straight readings. I'm sure Crunchy would agree. Where did I leave off? I left off with a guy having a bulge in his sweatpants as he was playing the game. So there was a woman and her husband was playing the game with another guy and 2 other women, and the wife was giving the guy the eyes like, oh, this is getting fun, right? Oh, Doggo Doesn't Die says we're not going to believe it's the real Crunchy unless she gives 150. Well, if you hear that, Crunchy, apparently nobody's going to believe it's the real you unless you throw $150 at the toe today. L Train says, hell, Crunchy, just finish it off. We can do a show. I'm cool with that. All right, here we go. Naked Twister readings. By the way, this is the last day. We're not doing this tomorrow. The offer dies tomorrow. This is the end. The group murmured in appreciation as they watched the players move into tighter and more stretched positions. Both Dylan and Brad were puffing more heavily as they struggled to hold their newly strained positions, having deferred to their female partners to give them the easier first mover advantage. Well, that's just called being a gentleman. That looks a little more interesting, Madison nodded approvingly while peering at each of the players. I hope you guys have been working out at the gym because it's only going to get difficult from here on. No sweat, Dylan said, grunting to hold his position. Now, this is the kind of shit that you do when you're like 20, 21. You know, this is the kind of shit you can. When you're doing this as like old grown-ups in your, 30s, 40s, 50s and shit, that's just arrested development, insecurity, and degeneracy. I mean, that's really, it's trying to hang on as tight as you can to the glory days. That's not what the beads of perspiration on your forehead are telling me, Maddie smiled. I hope you're all wearing sturdy clothing because we're about to test the strength of your seams with this next move. God damn it. By the way, like I said, $50 gets you a page, so I got to do another page and a half. But this is the last night that we're doing this because it's no, I am not bricked up. Dinosaur Fuel says you have to continue until the book is finished. No, I don't. I make the fucking rules around here. She spun the needle again, and this time it landed on the red color, communists. Now you have to touch a red circle with your... She paused, giving everyone a moment to prepare their next move. Left hand. This time, Hannah had to reach over top Brad's bent leg to reach the circle closest to her. You could go underneath, you fucking whore. While he had to twist his body facing up to reach his left hand all the way to the other side of the mat. So he's kind of like Bray Wyatt crab walking at this point. I'm trying to unsexify it as much as possible. By the time they had both rested their limbs on the designated markers, Hannah was leaning over top his crab-shaped body with her dangling tits rubbing against the rapidly bulging bump in his sweatpants. I don't want to do this. Oh, no. For his part, since he was already positioned on the red side of the mat, Dylan only had to reach one circle forward to place his hand on the board. But this time, his partner Lily had the tougher stretch, having to lean over his back to reach the last dot between the two men's hands. With her body hunched forward into a doggy-style position, it looked like she was humping Dylan's butt with her crotch. Yay. Woo-hoo, the group cheered at the erotic ways the two couples had chosen to position themselves. Well, that certainly looks like fun, Maddie said, raising a playful eyebrow. Are you guys starting to enjoy yourself? I'm really not. I don't want to finish this book. That's one way of putting it, Brad huffed while struggling to hold his upturned position while Hannah resting her body on his hips to support herself. I could hold this position for hours, Dylan kidded Lily. What? Dylan kidded as Lily rubbed her crotch against his ass in the bent over position. I have till here to go. The group chuckled, but I noticed Laura shifting position awkwardly as she watched her husband get increasingly turned on. Rubbing. Increasingly turned on, rubbing his thickening rod against Hannah's swinging tits. Fuck you, Cheetos, for bringing this to me. I don't know what. I thought we were reading like a documentary book when I made this bit up. We'll have to see about that, Madison snickered as she spun the game needle one more time, a little more forcefully. After spinning around 4 or 5 times, it finally landed on a green circle again. Your next move, Madison announced with a glimmer in her eye, is to move your right leg to a green circle, she announced. There, I'm fucking done. I'm burning this book. By the way, Cheetos did not give me the book. Someone sent it to Cheetos to give to me. Thank you to Charlie McDennis. What were you like when you were double cooping your micro? Oh, is that a small penis joke? I'm sorry. You wrote it fucked up, so I didn't deliver it well. That's on me. Jane and John Doe with $5 says, I can see desire in those guys when reading this book, Aaron. I think you mean eyes, but fine. Redbird with $5 says, tell us more about how you gracefully let your glory days go, blubber boy. Thank you, Redbird. By the way, Redbird moving up the rankings. He's now tied for 3rd at 57. Rocco says, best drag queen story hour ever. Isn't it, though? Isn't it? $80 away from the end of tonight's goal. Thank you very much for your generosity and contributions. I really, really, really don't want to do that bit anymore. If you could take some pity on me, I would appreciate it. All right, let's go to our next. This is Matt Gaetz talking about his take. Now, remember, Matt Gaetz was supposed to be the attorney general under Donald Trump. He was supposed to be the guy releasing all the Epstien files. And by the way, I like Matt Gaetz, but I don't think he would have made a difference. I still think that he would have been blocked from releasing all the Epstein stuff, just like Bondi is. So in a way, it's kind of nice that he's not part of that administration. Plus, he's also an anti-war guy. Matt Gaetz is not one of these neocon, bomb everything that moves, fight every war for Israel kind of guy. So I hope in this segment we're about to watch, I hope Matt Gaetz looks at Benny Johnson and he sticks to his guns and he disagrees with Trump's actions. And, you know, we see some of these pro-Trump people speak a little truth to power. Let's take a look at Matt Gaetz on the Benny Johnson show.
How have those conversations gone with the president? And can you give us like a 30,000 foot like sort of perspective on this?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't really do readouts on that stuff, but what I could tell you is he is upbeat. He's very focused. He's very dialed in on this, and he is taking a lot of advice and input, and I think he's the best guy to synthesize it. The most important thing for your viewers, and I think for his administration, is he wants to make this a repeat of the Soleimani strike not a repeat of the Iraq War. That is the central thing that comes out of our discussion, and we need the policies to be able to provide him that decision-making space.
I mean, I got to be honest, Matt Gaetz has been a politician for a long time. That was a very adept politician answer. If that makes it. That was a very politician-y answer. He's not shitting on Trump. He's letting it be known that he's not really big on this whole going to war idea, but he kind of couches it by going, well, maybe it's probably more of like a Soleimani thing than it is like an Iraq war thing, so it'll be really quick. Now, it does look like that's what it's going to be. It looks like it's going to work out that way, but to act like we planned it like that the whole time, I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, shit. Let's do another... I got 2 pages I got to do. Thank you, Crunchy, for the $50. Throw her an Olbermann.
They are afraid.
And she says, God bless Cheetos. And Gray Duckling with $50 says, let's go.
They are afraid.
And Leo with $1 says, how much for you to burn that shirt live on stream? I don't know. SP likes it. She thinks it's a good shirt. I can't. You know, I can usually put a price on everything for you guys, but I don't think I can put a price on that one. All right, that's also going to put us just $10 away from today's goal. $10 away. Hobo says, burn the shirt with you in it. But I would die if I did that, Hobo. That would ultimately lead to my death. I see what he... Well, looks like we got to do 2 more pages, then it's on to Ben Shapiro. God damn it. How long till the end of the... Oh, fuck, never mind. It's a 54-page book. We're on page 18. I was going to say, maybe we're getting close to the end of it. But I was wrong. Let me update the leaderboard real quick. Then we'll do these 2 pages. Then we'll get to Ben Shapiro. We got Gray Duckling now at 120. And we've got Crunchy at 100. So she is halfway to first place. And Redbird is at 57. In fourth. Brian is now sitting on the outside as well with 57. All right. Thank you, guys. Very, very much. All right. Naked Twister, 2 pages, then on to Ben Shapiro. Fucking hell. $4.99 with Comfortably Numb says, take my money, Toe. I don't think you're going to be feeling that way in a couple of minutes. All right, where were we at? They're doing right leg to a green circle. That's where we left off. The 4 players peered down at the mat, then back up at Maddie with puzzled expression. I can feel myself running out of real estate, running out of runway for this not to get fucking weird and gay and fucky and God damn it. Again, tonight is the last night we take 20s and 50s to read this fucking book. If I would have known what this book is when I got it, or book was, I would have never put this bit together. But all the green circles are occupied, Hannah said. What do we do now? In this instance, Maddie said, 2 people may occupy the same circle, but only with their own partner, not someone from the opposing team. The players paused for a moment, trying to determine how they could reach around everyone's twisted body parts. Then Brad stepped his foot toward 2 circles, resting it beside Hannah's downturned hand. The action pressed his crotch even tighter against Hannah's compressed tits. I don't want to read this. And she caressed his little toe. Is that what they're calling his dick? With her index finger while he struggled to hold his position. But this time it was Dylan's turn to be put into an increasingly difficult position. He had to move his right foot in front of his left leg on the same plane, while Lily had to simultaneously reach forward with her own right foot, trying to place it beside his, with her full weight already boring down on top of Dylan's back. And with his legs no longer in a spread position to balance himself, the two players quickly toppled onto the mat in a jumble of limbs. That means the game's over. The game's over. With his, No, the crowd roared in laughter while Dylan and Lily embraced each other, completely exhausted. We appear to have a winner, Madison nodded, motioning for Hannah and Brad to extricate themselves from their twisted position. That's the dick on tits team. You two can relieve yourselves now if you'd like, although it looks like you're kind of enjoying yourselves in that position. So if you need to take a moment to compose yourselves, don't let me rush you. Whores! Every one of them whores! Dirty, rotten, unfaithful whores. Hannah purred. Whore! Slut! Smiling at Brad, prostrated beneath her with an arched back, I wouldn't mind taking advantage of my partner in his currently vulnerable position, but something tells me his wife would prefer we separate before one of us gets some other ideas. Skank! Slag! She's trying to passive-aggressively hint to the wife that he should let... This is all against God. This should be burned at the stake. We should be, and it should only be put out with holy water. Don't let me get in the way of your fun, she said. Whore! She's a whore too! Winking at Brad with a sly smile. It's all part of the game. Whatever happens at Madison's place stays at Madison's place. Isn't that right, honey? No! That's not how anything works. Physics, nothing. You're all going to hell. This is all against our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I suppose so, Brad grunted. Oh, now we're grunting now. But I'm not sure I can hold this position much longer. Perhaps I should save my strength for the next round, if this means the two of us will be moving on. Actually, Madison said with a devilish grin, we're going to get another whore update. Actually said with a devil's grin, only one of you will be moving on to the next round. I have a slightly different idea for how to make the next step a little more interesting. Oh, so not enough people got pregnant in the first round. As Hannah and Brad untangled themselves and lifted themselves off the mat, they looked at Maddie with a suspicious expression. They undoubtedly were thinking the same thing the rest of us were regarding Madison's email instructions to wash our bodies thoroughly in preparation for the event. What are we, the fucking Spartans? Intimating that we would soon be intermingling our bodies without clothes in subsequent rounds. The only question now was who would be volunteered to join with whom? And would it be the men or the women? It's gonna get gay. I don't want it to get gay. No gay. I thought it was like a history of Naked Twister. My naivete. Cheetos, you should have burned this the minute you got it. The only question now was who would be volunteered to join with whom. As I contemplated all the combinations and permutations, I watched Brad resume his position at the other side of the mat while crossing his legs and folding his hands over his crotch why do I have to read shit like this? To conceal the swelling in his sweatpants. What, he stub his toe? Meanwhile, the growing wetness between my own legs, slag, suggested I wasn't quite done with the idea of playing a slightly different version of this twist and groan game with the opposite sex after all. Oh yeah, that's right. Our main character's a total lesbo. Forgot to mention that. Gray Duckling with $2 says your shirt was the way you passed gay for this bit. Gray Duckling says, guys, diamond hands tomorrow. $5 away from tonight's goal. Thank you very much. Hopefully we are done with that fucking book for the rest of the day. That would be nice. And thank you, Gray Duckling, for that extra 4. You're still firmly in second place. Don't say firmly. As we continue on with this evening's show. Leah with $1 says, bedtime stories with the toe. Deutsch Chad says, this book is sexy as hell. Whether it is or it isn't, I don't want to read it to a bunch of fucking dudes. Thank you very much. Hobo Chili says, Aaron's hands are trembling. He has so much local swelling in his crotch. He's going to beat his meat to 24 hours of Nathan Lane appearances on Modern Family. You know, Hobo, do you ever think that maybe you might be gay because you have to come up with this shit? Meaning you got to cook it up in that writer's room of a brain of yours. Something to consider. All right. On we go. Fuck, that is good, though. Not the book, the drink. We've got, and there's a pickle at the bottom of it. That doesn't bode well for me. All right. Let's do the Ben Shapiro hot take. I mean, look, a Ben Shapiro hot take. I mean, there's no better hot take in the business. I mean, Ben Shapiro talking about an Israeli war. I mean, I wonder whose side he's going to be on. This fucking guy. I like people like Ben Shapiro. Like after this, I wish this was the last time we helped them out with anything war related because they always start it. But I wish that as part of the deal in this war, we made people like Ben pick citizenship. We made them pick their allegiance. Are you an American or are you an Israeli? Because no man can serve two masters. I don't like this idea that you can have your sympathies be with Israel, but you exercise your influence in the United States. That doesn't sit well with me. Let's go to Ben Shapiro's take on the Trump strikes in Iran. Wait, hold on. First, thank you so much, Crunchy, with $10. Ladies and gentlemen, that's another win for the toe.
I've got some bad news.
Crunchy with $10 says, say what you will, but the man is a showman. Aaron has a boner. Let's all laugh at him. I don't want you to laugh at my boners. I want you to revel in them. Wait, what? All right, let's continue on. Ben Shapiro, Salvatore with $2. No, of course not. Don't be silly. Don't be silly, Salvatore. Now you're just being weird and gay and internet-y. Stop. Be a grown-up. Be a grown man, Salvatore. All right, let's go to Ben Shapiro and his take on the Trump-Israel stuff. I'm sure we're going to see the Iranian heel turn out of Ben here.
Believe, both left and right, that American involvement in the world is somehow the prime evil, the great driver of world suffering. That the
No. You're doing that bullshit you do where you attribute a position to people that they don't have. A lot of these people just think that America is the main driver of evil in the world. No. More Israel, and then they drag us into it. But, I mean, if you want to have that conversation, we can.
The world is somehow better off in the hands of the Chinese and the Russians and Iran going nuclear. He stood up. He stood up to the morons like AOC on the left who proclaim that Trump himself is a Hitlerian threat to the world by standing up to a true Hitlerian threat to the world.
So, Ben, do me a favor. Show me proof outside of whatever is up Benjamin Netanyahu's ass, which your head is so far up, you know what he had for breakfast yesterday. You show me the evidence that Iran was close to getting a nuclear weapon, and we'll talk. But our intelligence services say no. Israel goes, yep, they sure are. And then you just go, oh, well, then they were developing a nuke, and if you're against bombing Iran, then you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Boy, that's convenient, Ben. That is really convenient.
And he stood up to the dolts on the right who thought that they could somehow claim the movement Donald Trump built, the Make America Great Again movement, for themselves, painting Howard Zinn America-hating turd with a coating of MAGA language. And then,
are you out of your fucking mind, Ben? I mean, he is the worst arguer ever. He is the most disingenuous argument debate guy ever. No wonder this guy has to go to colleges and wow 19-year-olds with his debate savvy. Because when he has to go up against educated adults, he looks like a fucking infant. He looks like a baby throwing a tantrum, as I shout at nobody. But, I mean, this idea that if you think that America getting involved in wars on behalf of Israel and spending money we don't have, bombing other countries that haven't attacked us, that somehow makes us Howard Zinn or we're Noam Chomsky and we think the Chinese should take over and Iran should have a nuke. Fuck you, Ben. That is such a weak, pussy-ass argument.
And trying to pass it off as filet mignon. He stood up to all of them, and he proved that America is great again.
He didn't stand up to shit, Ben. He bent over for some blue and white cock. That's what he did. Some blue and white circumcised cock. That's what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump would have stuck to his guns if he would have said, we're not going to war. We're not bombing Iran, because that's what he wanted to do. Instead, he bent over and he let Mark Levin, and he let Benjamin Netanyahu fucking turn him every which way but loose and made him bend to your will so he would bomb Iran on behalf of Israel. Stop. Stop with the fucking he stood up to, and he didn't stand up to shit. He caved. He bent. Riding Dirty Llama says, you started to sound like Gilbert Gottfried for a minute. I know, that's why I'm having the spicy beverage tonight, because my voice is kind of going. And I have to yell at Ben Shapiro. You got to have your full voice to yell at Ben Shapiro. This Joe said that Donald Trump stood up to Israel. He bent over for the Israelis. I guess that would be a little closer to what you were expecting. Look, either way, to say that Donald Trump stood up to anybody is complete and utter horseshit. By the way, why is it that when, when Ilhan Omar says, I look out for Somalia first, and I advocate for Somalia first when I'm in Congress, that's fucking ridiculous, and she's insane, which I agree she is. But when Ted Cruz says, I want to be the most Israeli-friendly president, or the most Israeli-friendly senator in the United States, that's not looked at as the same thing as what Ilhan Omar does. Educate me, because I don't see a difference. I don't see a difference. Hold on. MSO says that shirt is screaming SP has a dick. It's not screaming anything. It can't speak. So it doesn't say that. Budman says getting some good laughs tonight. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. I appreciate you appreciating me and the program. Oh, a perfect Monday, and it was fucking effortless. You guys had goals knocked out within an hour today. Thank you. Anything you contribute tonight goes towards tomorrow. So, you know who's kind of been crushing it on this Iran thing? You're going to think I'm nuts. The Young Turks. I mean, you know our president sold the fuck out when Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian are sounding based. And Donald Trump looks like a weak-willed pussy who just follows. Anna Kasparian tweeted that clip of Tammy Bruce that we showed earlier today. You remember this clip? This was a clip of Tammy Bruce saying that America is the greatest country on earth next to Israel. Now, Tammy Bruce was a conservative talk radio host not too long ago, and now she's a United States State Department spokesperson. And she said the following.
The pride of being able to be here and do work that facilitates making things better for people, and in the greatest country on earth, next to Israel. It's an honor to be able to make a difference and to be able to speak in this regard with an administration that I love so much and that I feel genuinely represented by.
They love you so much, Don, as long as you're doing what they want you to do. Hey, Mr. Trump, who's fucking leading the show here? Who's leading and who's following? Because all these people that are supposedly working for you seem to be kind of attaboying you, congratulating you, as if you came around to their way of thinking. And Tammy Bruce, greatest country in the world next to Israel, then fucking first class ticket to Tel Aviv. You got to go. You got to go. You are not allowed to work for this government and say that we're second to anybody. I would assume if you were the Zimbabwean or the Madagascarian Secretary of State spokesperson, I would want you to think that that country is the best in the world. I mean, this is embarrassing. This is total bullshit. So Anna Kasparian then tweeted that out and said, as an American, I find it pretty sick that our own government is constantly telling us we come second to Israel. Nailed it, honey. Fucking nailed it. And like, again, you know, there's an old saying that, you know, politics makes strange bedfellows. And in this case, Tammy has made, like, her position on this has made, at least me, I won't say us, but me, sympathetic to the Young Turks. Like, I'm on Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian's side on this one. That's, I mean, none of this stuff. That's why I don't buy into left versus right. There's way too many caveats. There's way too many loopholes for it to just be a straight left-right thing. It just doesn't work that way. I wanted to, there was a take in here that I wanted to get to, and I can't find it anymore. Oh, God damn it. Oh, there's Mr. Beat says Aaron's in love with Anna Kasparian. I've actually always thought Anna Kasparian was cute. Sam Show says you just want to fuck the pointy bitch. I like Anna. I think Anna's very, I've got a thing for that name. Atomic Ray with $1 says Somalis aren't circumcised. I was talking about never mind. Gray Duckling with $5 says, dude, a lot of spice at the bottom there. Stir or not? I did stir it. The problem is I'm at the bottom of the bottle of mix. I shared at camping this weekend with aunts and uncles and things like that. So I shared the mix with them. So I'm running a little bit low this evening. So that's why. I did stir it up. It just, A, this heavier stuff kind of settles to the bottom, and B, there's not that much left. My Lost Interest says, I'm here for the erotic tale of balance on a multicolored plastic mat. Aaron's shirt would be the perfect thing to wear to such an event. Well, lucky for you, we're done. We've hit today's goal. That shit's over with. And nobody feels like contributing anymore for that book to be read now that the goal's been hit. At least that's the way I'm taking it, and I'm leaving with that. Triple N says Armenian, but the point stands. Well, yeah, I mean, they're Armenian, or she's Armenian. Cenk is Turkish, which kind of makes that whole him denying the Armenian genocide thing kind of weird. When his partner and co-host is an Armenian. But it seems like they found a way to make it work. Do we have, you know, I hate to do this. I hate to belabor the point, but I want to see if we got any Anna Kasparian audio today. Do we have any clips of her? Okay, I used to dislike Anna Kasparian, but she's 100% on point. All right, let's check it out. What did our girl Anna do?
But why did Trump pull out?
He pulled out because Bibi doesn't want the JCPOA. Bibi wanted to go to war with Iran. He's wanted regime change in Iran for
So you're saying that Bibi Netanyahu controls Trump?
Trump's the most honest person
You're saying that Bibi Netanyahu controls Trump. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think the Israeli government controls our government. Yeah.
Fucking based, Anna. Get him.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, it's not an opinion.
You're wrong, but that's entitled to your opinion.
It's based on AIPAC.
So you're
When has the United States of America done something that benefited the United States and was to the detriment of Israel? I would say maybe the Iran nuclear deal. Maybe. But even that stopped Iran from getting a nuke, so that worked in Israel's favor. When was the last time America engaged in a military action that didn't benefit Israel? Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, Iran, Egypt. I mean, Syria. When's the last time the United States engaged in military action. Kosovo? Bosnia? Maybe?
You're saying that Trump,
it's based on money and politics. It's based on the fact that Netanyahu goaded the U.S. to invade Iraq and then didn't even send IDF soldiers. He had 4,000 of our soldiers die in Iraq based on a false premise of weapons of mass destruction.
Crimea River, like you care about America.
Crimea River, dude, fuck you. I was never even in the military, but I had friends. I have friends who served. Luckily, none of them died. But like people in my generation lost arms and legs. They ate their gun because of the shit that they saw over there. Fuck you with boo-hoo. Shut the fuck up. I'm done listening to these soulless fucking demons who just seem to live on the blood of innocent Americans or soldiers who didn't ask for the fight that they were sent into because the fight didn't directly involve America, but we interjected ourselves into it at the behest of somebody else. Fuck these guys, boo-hoo. Anna Kasparian rules. She's fantastic. There's a song by a band. One of you sent it in on a Rumble Friday. It's called American Blood by Reckless Kelly. It's a really good song. And I don't think anything lays out kind of the Iraq war model better than that song.
I do care about American soldiers, and I care about American taxpayers who spend trillions of dollars on this trash when we are dealing with $37 trillion in debt.
So now you're
I will give liberals this. I'll give the American left this. They'll be honest with you about their spending. They don't want to spend it on the military and war, but they will tell you we want to spend it on social programs. We want to spend it on free healthcare. We want to spend it on shit like that. Okay, at least they'll tell you. Conservatives will sit there and go, the debt, the debt, the debt. They'll bomb everything that moves. They'll give tax cuts that they don't pay for. They'll spend just as much fucking money as Democrats do. They'll shut down people's places of employment and just mail out checks during COVID just like Democrats do. But at least Democrats will tell you. A Democrat will tell you, I'm going to spend a fuckload of your money. I'm going to raise your taxes. Republicans will say, I'm going to raise your taxes through debt and inflation. I'm going to cut them up front. But the cost of everything is going to go up and our debt's going to go through the roof, which is a secret later taxation. Oh, and by the way, we're not going to cut any fucking spending. And if we do, we're just going to give it all to the military-industrial complex and watch them do Israel's bidding. So the dishonesty of the Republican Party is, I would say, almost as bad, if not worse, than the Democrats' just open, blatant disregard for any kind of fiscal sanity.
Fiscal conservative.
Yeah, I am a fiscal conservative when it comes to spending our resources on wars that we shouldn't be fighting on behalf of a foreign country.
Let me understand this. You're saying that Trump is so weak and such a pussy that he just listens to whatever Bibi does? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think he's weak or...
Yeah, sure. I'll go with that. Because I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to do that bullshit Ben Shapiro thing where you put words in our mouths so you can feel like you're making an argument. But guys like this, you just got to call their bluff. Oh, you're saying Trump's a weak-willed pussy who does what Bibi says? Yep. Yes, I am. Prove me wrong. Go, bitch. Your turn.
Pussy. I think he's transactional. I think he's transactional. Wait, and I think that he buys this ridiculous narrative that Iran was behind the 2 assassination attempts when there isn't even a shred of evidence other than...
Right. It was Democrats, right, Anna? Tell them. It was the swamp. It was the shadow government. Tell them, Anna, it was your... That would be funny if she did. If she went, it wasn't the Iranians who tried to kill Trump. It was my side. It's the FBI who tried to fucking kill Trump. Good for her, man. Good for Anna, kicking ass and taking names with this fucking creep. I don't know who that guy is, but take a look at it. This is a funny one. My face when Anna Kasparian is more America first than cat turd. Dude, fuck cat turd. That's fucking boomer meat. Fucking cat turd is all for boomers. 100%. Gray Duck. Oh, God damn it, Gray Duckling. Gray Duckling with $5 says $50 for a page, $20 to a paragraph, $10 for a sentence. And then with $2, he says $200 full book. Now, I didn't say that. $201 does not get the full book read. $500, I'll read the full book, but not $200. Ow. Ow, fucking ow. Ah, shit. God damn it. I just finished my drink and I was eating the skewer with all the veggies on it. I didn't realize how long that fucking sword toothpick was, and I poked myself right inside the cheek. Son of an asshole. Dick moron retard shit. Oh, that hurt. I'm all right. Hobo says, good, the gods are punishing you for your gluttony. They were vegetables. There was a red pepper, a pickle, and an olive in there. Son of a shit. Hobo says, yeah, candy is not veggies. They weren't candy. They were 100% veggies. They were vegetables. Vegetables that make me a big, strong, growing boy. Thank you very much. All right, you guys are now $15 ahead for tomorrow morning. Thank you. Day One Salt says, notice his gag reflex never kicked in. I'm done telling you guys stuff. I'm done telling you guys things. Deutsch Chad, yeah, I'll have to go check out Jesse PS and Pod Awful later tonight. I love Jesse's show. In fact, I just got a notification that I think in 3 days, my Pizza Fund membership renews. Let's go to the Dave Portnoy thing. This is funny. So apparently, Dave Portnoy is learning the hard way that when you shit all over your base audience, they tend to shit on you back. Dave Portnoy, who's been Mr. Free Speech, you can joke about the grapes, you can joke about this group or that group. Oh, look at this. Can I read this on air? Someone asking me, fly Hobo out. I'm looking at flights. Clearwater to Minneapolis is like $90 round trip. I'd fly Hobo out. If Hobo got here for under $200, I'd fly Hobo out for sure. Just have the man reach out to me. I love Hobo chili. All right. So Portnoy is all fine with all kinds of different jokes about all kinds of crazy shit, right? Especially when he does it. But jokes about Jews, they're not okay anymore. Remember, he said, how many Jews have to die for you to not... As if jokes about Jewish people is what's killing Jewish people, apparently. We all know that Adolf Hitler went, a Jew in a canoe, which tips fast? And then the Holocaust started. So Dave Portnoy was out and about doing his little one-bite pizza, I'm going to rank this pizza place thing. And they decided to fuck with him, which is what you get when you're like Mr. Free Speech, Mr. Anything Goes, and then you turn on those principles. You can't count on two hands and 2 feet the amount of people shit like this has happened to.
This guy's got permission to shoot on my patio today? Cool. So I'm gonna need you to make your way out this way.
Okay. I'm gonna give this a 0.0. Goodfellas kicked out. National Pizza Review 0.0.
I'll throw it away for you though, so we don't litter.
It's trash.
Thanks, boss.
Trash. What a mistake that guy made. Kicked out.
Terrible.
You know, it's fuck this guy. What a mistake that guy made. How about you look like a fucking asshole? How about you look like an asshole who can't take a guy going, hey, could you not film on our patio? We'd like our customers not to be filmed. We'd like to keep this a filming away from here and shit like that. And instead of telling people if their pizza's good or not, you go, oh, you wouldn't let me do exactly what I wanted. So therefore, fuck you. Your pizza gets a 0.0. I'm going to be a fucking diva live on video. I hope people go to this place if they live in that area, wherever this Goodfathers or Goodfellas pizza is, and they go eat it. And they love it. Like, he's such a fucking baby. Like, if you're someone who's hated Dave Portnoy forever, because I haven't, has he always been a sensitive little bitch? Has he always been a pussy? I guess Alex Stein kind of warned us, right? Like that Dave's always been a sensitive, soft little bitch. The caption for this video, by the way, is Dave Portnoy has now been kicked out of 109 pizza places.
Kicked out. What? Kicked out. That guy kicked us out.
Who? This guy?
Yep.
Dude. Kicked out for what?
For eating pizza.
No, not for eating pizza, you fucking dick. He said you don't have permission to film on our patio. Yeah, he didn't kick you out either, you fucking dick. He didn't say you're kicked out. He said you can't film. You could have shut down your recording. You could have eaten your pizza, and you could have. Oh God, what a fucking dick.
Oh, he doesn't remember kicking us out. It's on tape.
That's Barstool Sports, man. Barstool.
0.0.
Classy, Dave. Real classy. Next, he's just going to tell Donald Trump that Goodfellas Pizza has weapons of mass destruction.
What a mistake. What a mistake. What do you mean he didn't kick us out? What do you...
He didn't. Let's go back. Let's watch the tape.
This guy's got permission to shoot on my patio today? Cool. So I'm gonna need you to make your way out this way.
Okay. I'm gonna give this a 0.0. Goodfellas.
He didn't kick him out. He said, oh, you have to make your way that way. You want to go film. You got to go film over there. You can't film on the fucking patio. He was saying you got to go over there and film. He wasn't kicking you out.
Kicked out. National Pizza Review 0.0.
I'll throw it away for you, though, so we don't litter.
It's trash.
Thanks, boss.
Trash. What a mistake that guy made.
What a pompous ass. This is the same guy that was like donating money to businesses that needed help during COVID. And now he's just a fucking dick. He's just an arrogant asshole. God. The 109 kicked out of 109 pizza places is a bit of a cheeky little bit, though. Ever notice he has to stand on an apple box when taking a picture? Says Hobo. Brett Mack says it's like every video he does, they're turning him away for this same reason. Right. There's a lot of businesses who just, for whatever reason, they don't, just in case he's going to give them a shitty review, he doesn't want them standing around filming on his patio, or maybe his customers. His customers don't want to be filmed on the patio, and they're just looking out for them. I think what we're learning about Dave Portnoy lately is that Dave is way more sensitive than we originally thought. Way more sensitive. All right, let's go to, there I go with the let's go to thing. The Vance Belter stuff. We keep finding out more and more again about this Vance Belter. Now, the big thing that dropped over the weekend is Vance Belter claimed that Tim Walz told him to kill Amy Klobuchar. Now, I don't. I don't believe that Tim Walz did that, but Vance Belter did say that Tim Walz spoke to him and told him, you need to kill Amy Klobuchar so I can run for her Senate seat. Now, that makes zero sense. Vance Belter is clearly off his rocker because Tim Walz could just run for Tina Smith's Senate seat and he'd probably win it, in all honesty. Like, if he wants to run for the Senate, he could run for the Senate and he could win. Look, I know those of you outside of Minnesota, you're like, Tim Walz, he fucking sucks. He's a douche. He's awful. And I agree with you. And most people here in central Minnesota and outstate Minnesota agree with you. But the Metro is where it's at, and they fucking love that guy. If for no other reason, they think he, like, stood up to Trump. You know, he's like their anti-Trump hero in the metro area in Minnesota. Like, as red as outstate Minnesota is, it's 3 times as blue in the metro area. So, yes, I know this sounds weird to people in the rest of the country. And Minnesotans back me up. If Tim Walz ran for Senate here in Minnesota, he would win if he were the Democratic nominee. So the Vance Belter story, though, gets weirder and weirder. If you'll remember Vance, he was the guy who shot one of our politicians dead and wounded another. Killed the other politician's spouse, wounded the other politician's spouse. It's our former speaker, Lisa Hortman. And then Hoffman was the guy who made it. You have the thing over the weekend. You have the hit list that he had that had a bunch of different politicians, pro-choice politicians on it. Now they searched his home over the weekend, and they found some interesting things.
And right now, accused gunman Vance Belter is facing federal charges that put the death penalty officially on the table.
Well, they're going to kill him. I mean, you don't... Cops and politicians. You kill cops and you kill politicians, generally speaking, you're going to die.
Charges were laid out by prosecutors during his first...
At the very least, he'd have to cut a deal and just take life in prison. If he goes to trial, they're going to kill him.
First court appearance today. Among the charges, chilling new details about his behavior leading up to the shootings. So Young Kim
joins us now from the newsroom with a breakdown.
So Young Kim is my favorite reporter. Too Young Kim is the one I don't like.
So Young, prosecutors say Vance Belter stalked his victims extensively before going on that killing spree.
That's right, and it was an absolutely devastating roughly 43 hours. Before that, federal prosecutors say Belter planned his attacks carefully, researching potential targets and their families and homes, and say the details laid out in this 20-page, 6-count federal complaint show as horrific as this tragedy is, it could have been even worse.
It is no exaggeration to say that his crimes are the stuff of nightmares. Belter stalked his victims like prey. He went to their homes, held them out as a police officer, and shot them in cold blood.
And this is a look inside 57-year-old Vance Belter's first...
Again, same reason the Diddy trial doesn't have cameras. Federal courtrooms don't allow cameras.
Federal court appearance this afternoon. Acting U.S. Attorney for the Minnesota District announced Belter is facing multiple federal charges, including murder and stalking. He also already faces state charges, including murder and attempted murder.
That's why, people keep making this big thing about, oh, what if Trump pardons Chauvin? What if Trump pardons Chauvin? It doesn't matter. Derek Chauvin is already serving like 25 years in a state sentence. So if he got pardoned by Trump on the federal charges, he'd still be in prison for pretty much the rest of his life on the state of Minnesota charges.
Investigators say he allegedly visited 2 other state lawmakers' homes that same morning, but didn't make contact with them. And as we've reported previously, investigators say there was a hit list with dozens of additional names.
Okay, quick. We've got about 45 seconds left in this story. Will they mention the Tim Walz thing or not? Fox 9, don't let the name Fox fool you. Fox 9 here in Minnesota is very liberal. They're pretty lefty. We don't really have, outside of Alpha News, we really don't have a right-leaning news source in Minnesota. 49 seconds. Do you think they're going to mention the Tim Walz told me to kill Amy Klobuchar thing? Now, we all know that probably didn't happen, but even our media will probably protect that in case other people want to believe it. How dare they?
At a press conference earlier today, federal prosecutors once again calling it a political assassination, echoing the words Governor Tim Walz had used. But officials also say it's too early to speculate on a motive at this time.
This was a political assassination, which is not a word we use very often in the United States, let alone here in Minnesota. It's a chilling attack.
That guy kind of looks like young Kane with hair.
Attack on our democracy, on our way of life.
And many questions still remain unanswered.
So much so, Israel wants us to bomb his house.
At this hour, including whether he was receiving any help while on the run. His next
that would be a time to mention the Tim Walz thing right there.
Court appearance will be later this month, and he will be held in federal custody until then. And coming up, Fox 9 investigators take a deeper dive into the timeline of this weekend's event.
Oh, so no. There you go. Fox 9 did not feel it prudent to report that part. Jesus. Chad Buzamok liked I knew somebody would like my Too Young Kim, So Young Kim joke.
Home run, Jefferson. Go to break.
Hobo calling her aggressively Asian looking. Well, that's not kind. Holy shit, you're right. He's Starfleet, says Hobo Chili Recipe. The black guy looks like midget Bobby Lashley, says Hobo. Oh, a Bobby Lashley drop. At a kid. Yeah, they searched his house and they found 50 guns, body bags, cash, a police squad type car. Yeah, he was ready to go. A note card with public officials' names and states, 11 guns in basement storage, 3 firearms in the main floor safe, 31 guns in the gun safe room, a plastic tote with miscellaneous rifle magazines and ammunition, a tub of miscellaneous ammo from the residence, $17,940 in cash, various laptops and computer towers. That's what they found in Vance Belter's home. No mention of the Tim Walz thing. Again, doesn't mean any of us believe the Tim Walz shit, but interesting that none of you want to report it. Interesting that nobody wants to discuss it. Hey, speaking of Minnesota news, we have another defendant in the Feeding Our Future case. Remember the Feeding Our Future thing where basically, well, here, how do we lay this out? This white lady was running the Minnesota portion of the federal Feeding Our Future thing where you would, the thing was, a restaurant reports that they're feeding X amount of children every day. You turn that into the federal government, they give you money. Well, what this lady was doing was she was signing up these little tiny Somali cafes. And she was telling the Somali cafe owners, hey, just fill out this paperwork and say you were serving like 4,000 kids a day, 7 days a week. And then the white lady was turning the fat white lady was turning those numbers into the federal government and getting shitloads of money. And she'd whack it up with the restaurant owners with her keeping the lion's share of it. Well, she got caught. And now we're finding out that all of the big charges in this case are coming from Minneapolis, St. Cloud, Wilmer, Mankato, and Rochester. All 5 of those cities, considerable Somali populations. And almost every one of these defendants, Somali. So you could either say that, these refugees are coming to this country and some of them are starting restaurants and bleeding the taxpayer dry and defrauding the taxpayer and violating their generosity. Or you could say that this woman is taking advantage of Somalis and their lust to make it big in America, and she's using them so she can line her own pockets. Or you could take the position that I do and say it's both. So, however, we do have a new defendant in the Feeding Our Future case, and this is a little different than what you've been seeing before, because before it was guys that, immediately you look and you go, oh, well, that's a Somali, and they're ripping off the Feeding Our Future program. This next guy, his name is Abdiaziz Farah. And while you may go, oh, gotcha, wait until you see him, because he's not going to look like how you think he's going to look. This Abdiaziz Farah. I'll show you now, and you tell me. There. Oh. Is that that's exactly how you thought he'd look, wasn't it? Okay. Well, I thought I'd give it a shot. I was just, I want to be fair. I don't want to pile on. That's all. He pleaded guilty this week. Wow, they already got him through to plead guilty, huh? To one count of bribery of a juror, admitting that he helped orchestrate a secretive and ultimately doomed plot to sway the jury with cash. So this guy was trying to bribe a juror in his own trial. The plot unraveled thanks to Juror 52, who, according to prosecutors, could not be bought. Yeah, what are you going to do? Pay me with my own taxpayer money that you stole, you fuck? As testimony was unfolding in court, Farah and 4 others, Abdi Majid Mohammed Noor of Shakopee, Saeed Shafi Farah of Minneapolis, Abdul Karim Shafi Farah, 24 of Minneapolis, and Layden Muhammad Ali of Seattle were secretly working to bribe one of the jurors. Oh, wow, they even got the cash that they were trying to use. Take a look. Oh, boy. I would have found him not guilty. I tell you what, this juror 52, he sure does have a lot more scruples than I do. I wouldn't want to be there in the first place on jury duty. You put a little money in a sewer grate or something. I don't know. I'll pick it up. I'll vote. I'll go ahead and vote however you want me to, as long as you can promise I won't get caught. So now not only is he in trouble for the Feeding Our Future scandal, but now he's also in trouble for trying to bribe a juror. Nice job, asshole. I guess some people are just irredeemable at that point. Well, we're nothing if not but consistent. Nader P says, sorry for being late. Where did you find a muumuu with a button-up collar? That hurts my feelings. That's mean. That cuts deep. That you know what? Honestly, you guys rip on me like that 13 or 14 more times, and I'm out of here. I'm telling you right now. All right. The Homeowners Association story, I don't give a shit about this one. I don't like homeowners associations, don't get me wrong. But unless they've got like video and I can see all the neighbors arguing with each other and the whole thing going to shit, I really don't care. You know what we really have to report on tonight's show is what we're doing for Pride Month. That's right. We're done with all the Iran shit. We're done with all the Israel stuff. We need to get to what's truly important. What are the Tuckers doing? I don't mean Carlson. And I don't mean shirts. Real quick, some breaking news out of Israel. We have a few. Remember, we had the the ceasefire called tonight. Oh, wow. Actually, you know what? I'm still scrolling here. I have some very interesting stuff that we need to discuss here in a little bit. Uh-oh. All right, let's start here. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has just finished a meeting with his cabinet. This was an hour ago. Reportedly instructing them not to speak publicly about U.S. President Trump's announcement of a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. I'm worried about Israel fucking it up for us. Now, they did say that Iran and Israel would get to carry out their strikes tonight and that tomorrow morning, I guess, the ceasefire would begin. The ceasefire was agreed upon through Qatari and American mediation between Israel and Iran. We knew that. Sources familiar with the matter said. After the attack on the American base, Iran conveyed a message to the White House via Qatar that it would not carry out further attacks and that its response was over. The White House responded to Iran with its own message, emphasizing that it would not respond militarily to the Iranian attack and that the United States was ready to resume negotiations on a nuclear agreement. Talks then continued between the U.S. and Israel and between Qatar and Iran to agree on the terms of the ceasefire and the time at which it would begin. Okay, so that's all great. Then we get reports of Iranian senior officials dead. Since we've been on the air, a mysterious fire has started in Iraq. Initial reports of a targeted assassination strike against a senior official in the Iranian capital of Tehran. You watch this. Israel's going to try and fucking kill the Ayatollah before the clock runs out on this ceasefire. Just dirty, rotten shit, man. If there really is a ceasefire and the Islamic regime is able to remain in power within Iran, if you thought they were paranoid and hated the U.S. and Israel before, it's going to be way worse now, and they will likely be pushing 10 times harder to develop a nuclear weapon. I know I'd want one. Dude, if I were Iran, I'd want a nuke so bad. I'd be so fucking paranoid that people were out to get me everywhere, and just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean there ain't nobody watching me. Several large explosions were reported in the town of Al-Taji to the north of the Iraqi capital of Baghdad. Dad, shut up. So there's a mysterious fire in Iraq today. Not Iran. Now we've got an Iraqi fire going on. Explosions are continuing to be seen and heard near Camp Taji to the north of Baghdad, with reports of possible airstrikes targeting Iranian-backed forces in Iraq. So we're supposed to have a ceasefire, and now the Israelis are fucking bombing Iraq. God damn it. You know why they do this? Because we're never going to cut them off. We're never going to tell them no, because they're a spoiled child who gets everything they want and nobody ever tells them to fuck off. Multiple large fires now burning at Camp Taji to the north of Baghdad. During a phone interview earlier with NBC News, President Trump called the ceasefire between Iran and Israel a wonderful day for the world, in my opinion, adding that he believes the ceasefire will last, quote, forever, and that he does not believe that Israel and Iran will ever be shooting at each other again. Oh, that's sweet. Isn't that something? Reports are now suggesting that a surface-to-air missile launcher and radar site were targeted and are now burning at Camp Taji at the north of the Iraqi capital of Baghdad. Now, this is from OSINT Defender. This is from that Twitter account that Numero Uno gave us. I'm starting to think that Khamenei is either dead or there has been some kind of coup within the Iranian armed forces, because that is the only way these statements being made by Trump, Vance, and other officials within the last hour make any sense. So now rumors are starting to kick around that the Ayatollah of rock and roll may be either dead or deposed, and that there's strange shit going on right now in Iran. Baghdad Operations Commander Lieutenant General Walid al-Tamimi has now confirmed that an unknown drone targeted an air defense and radar site at Camp Taji to the north of the capital earlier, resulting in significant damage to the site, but no casualties. Okay. Sources also say that if Israeli strikes continue after 3:30 Tel Aviv time, Iran would consider the ceasefire voided. That would have been 15 minutes ago. We hit that time. Unverified reports of a possible drone attack and explosion at the Camp Victory complex in Baghdad International Airport in Iraq. 29 minutes ago, heavy airstrikes are continuing still against Western Tehran. So as long as they stopped 15 minutes ago, we're good. Hey, Rocco, here's one for you. Another Iranian nuclear scientist was reportedly eliminated tonight in Tehran by a precision strike from the Israeli Air Force. So another one of these poor nuclear dorks just getting fucking whacked. So 16 minutes ago, the Israeli Air Force is continuing to carry out strikes across Tehran and western Iran. Now, if that continued for another fucking minute, the ceasefire is void. I mean, at what point do we fucking cut these guys off? They're clearly the ones causing the war and are the threat to peace. But we just fucking never tell them no. It is now 3:30 a.m. in Israel. This was 12 minutes ago, with Iranian officials reportedly telling France 24 earlier that if Israeli strikes continue after 3:30 Tel Aviv time, Iran would consider the ceasefire as voided. So what does this mean? Have we gotten any word that the ceasefire is indeed voided? Uh-oh. Reports of a drone attack now on U.S. forces stationed at Al-Assad Air Base in western Iraq, following drone strikes within the last hour or so against 3 other military strikes in eastern Iraq near Baghdad. What the fuck is going on? I honestly, dude, I wouldn't put it past Israel to be doing some false flag shit right now to keep this thing going. Nader P says, is Stankonia fueling up their bombers? Yeah, could it be Stankonia dropping bombs over Baghdad? That is something we need to discuss, because Stankonia has been eerily quiet. Eerily quiet for this whole thing. By the way, okay, what's going on with, I'm just scrolling through the chat here. What's going on with Zumock and My Lost Interest? Because Chad Buzamak says, My Lost Interest, Chad Zumock has been missing you. He keeps calling out for you and even mentioned he sees or heard you're still in tow chat, so not sure why you're not around for him. Well, okay, let me tell you why, and maybe My Lost Interest doesn't believe this, but let me tell you why people come into my chat and, you know, I see Melton gets butthurt about this, about people being in my chat, so much so that his audience tries to dox people for donating money to the show because they're jealous. Chad Zumock wondering where these people have gone. It's because I fucking do a real show. None of you do a show. You all suck. You're all terrible. None of you do a real show. You just grab onto other people's cocks. You milk them for everything they were. You swallow all the gravy while I do a real show. A lot of these people get tired of acting like 11-year-olds on the fucking internet with you. So they're like, you know what? We'll go to Steel Toe. They'll actually do a real show. And it'll be, you know, loose and funny and interesting and kind of, it won't take itself so seriously. That's why, asshole. So stop asking these people where they are. Stop wondering why they're here and not there. It's because you are no fun. You are no fun, and we don't take ourselves so seriously as I scream at you. Riding Dirty Llama says, we all suck. You lot hear that? Exactly. That's what it is. Hobo chili recipes here because I'm just so damn sweet. All right, so don't worry, guys. There is a good chance that Israel could still fuck this whole deal up for us. And if Israel does fuck this deal up for us, don't you worry. We'll give them excuses and talk about why it's totally okay that they are fucking over this ceasefire for us. It's totally fine. Over 300 of you checking out the show right now. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. Hit like, hit follow, hit subscribe. By the way, almost 900 average viewers at a time this morning by Restream numbers. 1,096 was our peak number for this morning. So killing everybody is the toe. Can't stop winning. Pride Month. You know, we haven't talked a lot about Pride Month. And, before we do, this was interesting. Somebody asked Grok, how many ceasefires has Israel violated? Number only. Is this true? 962? Israel is launching the fiercest strikes against against Tehran since the war began, just before Trump's alleged ceasefire is to go into full effect. Well, it wouldn't be a ceasefire that makes peace in the Middle East more achievable if Israel wasn't in there trying to muck up the works. I gotta ask Grok this question. How many ceasefires has Israel violated? Number only. No shit. 962. I didn't even know there were 962 ceasefires that they'd been a part of to violate. Holy shit. 09 Canyon says, daylight savings. They got confused. Whoopsie doodle. Oh, well. That'll be what Trump says. He'll be like, Bibi Netanyahu didn't set his clock forward. He thought he had another hour. He was wrong. What do you do? All right, guys, we got a little bit of Pride news for you tonight. By the way, why is it that all overweight men who do drag always look Asian? Like when they do their lady eyes, it always ends up looking like they're doing yellow face, and it should be considered remarkably offensive. They either look like Asian people or Baphomet, especially the guys who have beards who dress like ladies. It's always the Demon Lord Baphomet or an Asian lady, a fat Asian lady. News Center, Maine decided to let Char Money, who is a local drag queen, do the weather. Now, there's no way you can fuck this up, right? You have, you do the morning news, and you go, hey, for Pride Month, we're going to let a drag queen come in here and do the weather. Now, you've all watched these little local newscasts, right? There's no way some cross-dresser can come in and fuck up anything and cause panic, is there? Let's take a look.
Hello, everybody. I am Chartreuse Money, and today, as current temperatures right here, Saturday, it's 2:40 p.m., honey. It is 80 degrees here in Portland right now.
That's the other thing about drag queens. They got to overdo it with the honey and sweetheart and shit. Like, it's like, we get it. You're a gay guy and you like boobies, but vaginas are icky. Just fucking dress like a chick and talk in your gay voice, and let's get this over with as quickly as possible.
Now, honey, and we are feeling the effects. The sun is out. All it took was a pride parade to bring the sunshine out today. But, honey,
that's what it is. It's the pride parade that brings the sunshine out. Well, how else are you supposed to see young people that you can indoctrinate into your way of life? Because you certainly can't breed them. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant at all.
It's hot all over the state. We got 78 degrees in Lewiston. I know the people of Lewiston, Auburn are probably celebrating and jumping in the river. Please don't do that. Be safe because it is hot, 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 but we need to find relief. Sanford's 81. Portsmouth down in New Hampshire is a lovely 83.
Holy shit. Like, this would be awful enough if this was all this drag queen did. Wait until we get to the extended forecast down the eastern seaboard.
Honey, the water is 56 degrees, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds so tropical, but you still got to be careful, okay? Hypothermia is real, so take it easy. 78 degrees in Waterville, 71 degrees in Greenville, and 76 in Millinocket. And shout out to my friends up in Caribou. I see you up there, Caribou. It's 73 degrees up there. Hope you're having a good old time. Here's the country, honey. It is hot.
Get ready. This is where their Pride Month drag queen weather hour goes really wrong.
And humid in the central part of the country near Chicago, I'm seeing. And down there near Raleigh, honey, there is an H with circles, which I can only assume means hurricane. Doesn't
It means high pressure system, but you can't go on the fucking news and tell the people of the Carolinas that there's a fucking hurricane coming. What that does is induce what we call in the business mass hysteria. Maybe that's what the H is for, hysteria.
I mean hurricane.
If you had a T, you'd know it was for talk at least.
Honey, it means high pressure, honey. Don't worry. Don't worry. There is no hurricane coming Raleigh, North Carolina. Don't worry.
But I know you've already turned off your TV and panicked and you started grocery shopping, but don't worry. I mean, when the news director said, how can we get the gays off our back and honor Pride Month and not do any damage to our station's reputation, you thought this would be an easy idea, right? Wrong. Jesus. There's an H here, which I can only assume means hurricane, so run for your fucking lives, bitches! I might be a little too good at that. Soylent Goy writes, I can feel myself getting AIDS from watching this. Oh, no. Oh, no. Sam Show says the cadence is pissing me off. I know, me too. That cadence is awful. Okay, honey, time for the weather. Oh, my God. Take a fucking breath. Relax. Just, you don't have to get it all out in one big fucking vomit. Okay? This beast is gayer than Naked Twister book. There's only one way to find out. Rusty Grammar says a lie. No, I can't read that. We're still on YouTube, for God's sake. I can't be saying that shit out loud. Speaking of pride and speaking of, we were talking about religion earlier with the Israel and Iran stuff. One of the tenets of Christianity, one of the things that Jesus says is that you're supposed to, what do they call that? Proselytize. You're supposed to spread the good news about, your soul has been saved. Your sins have been washed away by the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. And he's your Lord and Savior. He died for your sins, the whole deal. You're supposed to tell people about it. You're supposed to be proud of it. You're supposed to convert them. That's kind of a tenet of every religion, right? Some religions are a little more forceful and violent with it, looking at you, Islam. And others are a little more passive. What up, Mormons? So this Lutheran pastor got up this Sunday and told their flock, hey, if other people are totally cool with their religion, they don't need ours and we don't need to tell them about it. Which goes against, the teachings of this little guy named Jesus, but I guess that's what we do. By the way, this is the ELCA, Lutheran Church. The ELCA is like the weak, pussy-ass Lutheran Church. That's the fake Lutherans. The badass, actually think their religion means something is the Missouri Synod. That's like the hardcore Lutherans. Now, neither of them are as hardcore and mean the shit as much as Catholics. But, Missouri Synod's closest to, the best fake Catholics. Like I said, if we just would have imprisoned Martin Luther, I think we probably could have saved the world a lot of strife. Redbird with $5. Thank you, buddy. He says, peace treaty just signed between Israel, Iran, and America. Someone might want to tell those Israeli fighter jets that that's been signed. Thank you, Redbird. Here's a Lutheran pastor telling their flock that, don't worry about that whole telling people Jesus is awesome thing.
I think that there are people who are perfectly happy in other faiths who do not need converted to ours. It gives all of us a purpose, a joy, a sense of call, a sense of what we're supposed to do when he says, I'm leaving and the Holy Spirit's going to come on you. You are supposed.
Wait, what? Holy Spirit's doing what now? One more time there, Pastor? I know I was raised Catholic, but this is ridiculous.
When he says, I'm leaving and the Holy Spirit's going to come on you, you are supposed to be my witnesses.
Well, I'll be able to be your witnesses. The Holy Spirit's cum's going to be all over me. I'm not going to, the DNA test will show.
You are supposed to make disciples. You are supposed to tell everybody to change their mind and way of life.
Right.
It's a new translation of repent. Well, okay, so I was on board with all of this, but here's where I'm going to start making, I think, maybe all of us uncomfortable because
Here's where I'm going to make all of us uncomfortable. I'm going to do the part where I blaspheme my own faith, I become a charlatan, and I should probably be cast out. This is the part where I'm going to pretend a particular tenet of my religion doesn't exist just so I can feel better. Instead of me following my faith and following the teachings of my God and my Savior, I'm just going to make some bullshit up because I don't feel like trying. Fucking can't stand these Protestants, man.
Start making, I think, maybe all of us uncomfortable because we who are in kind of progressive church circles don't tend to be real excited about the idea of running out and telling other people to change because of Jesus, right?
Yeah, what a dick move. You think you found this guy who's saving humanity, dying for your sins, and preaching peace and love towards others. Yeah, you'd really kind of want to play that one close to the vest. You don't want to tell other people about the good news. Fuck them, right? We're progressive.
Now, I know that there's some little part of me, not the best part of me, the kind of selfish ego part of me that really would like to tell everybody how they're supposed to change.
How is that a selfish ego thing? You think you have the key to someone's eternal soul and the salvation of their damned soul. Why would you not share that with them? If you're not willing to share that with them, you probably really don't believe in it, and you should probably fuck off. There's an old movie theater that's having church services on Sunday. It's called non-denominational. They don't believe in shit. You'll fit right in. They got a bad rock band and everything.
But really, I know that's not the best part of me. It is not the best part of me to think that I know how everybody else is supposed to change and tell them what to do. And my relationships don't.
You're a woman. You're fucking awesome at it.
Go well when I go into that part of my brain. The better part of my brain.
There's a difference between you should like scrapbooking with me and you should follow Jesus Christ because he died for your sins on the cross and he can save your eternal soul. There's a little bit of a difference.
Says other people are beloved by God and have God in them and in their lives and speaking to them too, and we discover together.
But not inconvenience myself. How about that? Is there a way I can still be a Christian and but I don't actually have to do anything Christian. Is that a possibility?
And we have good reasons why we haven't always done that, right? One of the reasons that we tend to not do that a lot is because other people have done it so harmfully, right?
Like
that
who?
line in the Psalm about God subduing all the other nations, well, we know that Christians in the past have decided that's our job personally to go out and subdue other nations and destroy other...
When? Please tell me. More so than other religions? Because if this is another fucking person, if this is another person who's going to say the Crusades and not know what the fuck they're talking about, I'm going to lose my cocksucking mind. Not that I have a cocksucking mind. That was probably the worst word I could use to describe that. However, another fucking Christian who doesn't understand the history of the Crusades, that they were counterattacks for 400 fucking years of Muslim buggery, kidnapping women and children, forcing people into slavery, raiding our holy sites, conquering land, murdering Christians if they didn't convert. Yeah, we got tired of it and we decided to fight back.
cultures by telling them they can't dress in their...
The Crusades were based and awesome, and they should have gone further. And you know what? Europe was weak and didn't do their job because they should have kept a steady stream of knights going into Jerusalem. We should have protected the Crusader states, protected the Kingdom of Jerusalem, and we should still be holding it today as a Christian territory. The world would be a lot better place. The Crusades were awesome. The Crusades were good for not only the West, but the world. Fuck it. I'm done with people shitting on the Crusades. If you didn't have the Crusades, the Muslims would have taken over everything. Clitoral circumcisions in the UK. Well, I mean, they got there eventually, last couple of years, but.
Native ways of dressing, and they have to abandon their culture, and they have to take on Jesus and dress like Victorian people in corsets and wool and like that.
Yeah, fucking your tits will look better. Sorry, we make your tits look better. You get to worship Jesus and you have better tits. Sorry we made you more fuckable, Middle East.
Was terrible colonialism, and the church has a lot to answer for how.
Oh, suck my dick! You're the only religion that fucking does that. Judaism doesn't apologize for the people they've fucking killed and conquered. Islam doesn't. The only thing Islam complains about is that they didn't conquer enough. God damn it with these fucking pissy pants liberal Lutheran fucking churches. Enough of them. Get rid of them. The ELCA has got to go.
Harmfully we did that, or ways. So we
saved those savages' souls. I mean, if you play it literally, if you believe in your religion, you saved the souls of savages. You should be thrilled. You turned them to Christ.
More on the progressive side are so careful, rightly so.
I'm going to say it. If the world was Christian, we'd be better off. I'm not even like a practicing Christian. I believe culturally I am. I believe that this country needs more religion. It needs more Christianity. It needs more Jesus. But I'm not like a practicing guy. I just know, like Napoleon Bonaparte understood, there is a useful place for Christianity in society, even though he wasn't religious. But holy shit, these weak pussy ass, doesn't understand their own faith, ELCA Lutheran churches have got to go. There's fucking rules. There's fucking history. It exists. It's true. You can feel bad about it if you want to, but it doesn't make you right. The Crusades were based. They were fucking awesome. And if we could have stopped fighting with each other for 5 seconds and the Eastern Orthodox Church could have joined up with the Catholics, we could have routed the Muslims and the Holy Land would be ours like it should be, and we wouldn't have all these bullshit wars that we're fighting right now.
About not doing that.
If the Eastern and Western Christian kingdoms would have united, nothing could have stopped us. And that empire would still be alive to this day, 1,000 years later.
About not running into someone else's life and being like, change everything about who you are and what you do and what you think because Jesus.
Yeah, that's what Jesus said to do. Sorry, Butch. I know you think you know better, but you don't.
Sometimes telling people to change their hearts and minds and lives is telling them you don't have to hate yourself.
Right. Yeah. Or sometimes it's going, follow Jesus Christ. Here's the benefits to doing so. And if they don't want to, then they don't have to. It's fine. But you should be preaching it.
God loves you.
You're a preacher who doesn't want to preach. What the fuck is that all about?
And that is not a harmful thing to tell people. Now, I think we...
But God doesn't love you. God loves you if you follow him and exalt him. He doesn't just go, hey, I like you the way you are. That's not how God works.
Still need to do it carefully. I think we still need to do it respecting other people's cultures. I think we still need to do it without dominance and force. I think we still need to do it respecting consent if there are people who do not want us to tell them. I think that there are people who are perfectly happy in other faiths who do not need converted to ours. I think there are people who are perfectly happy with no faith at all, and I don't think we're doing them any favors if they don't believe in God. I don't think we're doing them any favors by jumping on top of them and telling them they're wrong.
But your religion, that's what your religion is fucking based around, is that everyone else is wrong, your way is right, and you're going to tell them about it. I mean, what the shit is going on here? What the fuck are we discussing? This is a version of this is a version of Christianity I've never heard before. The do whatever you want version of Christianity. And if other people if other people don't want you to Christianize them, then don't bother. Numero uno says, holy shit, whose idea was this clip? God damn it, Matt. I like this one. I don't care. Hulkamash with $1 says, like 100 years ago, Mormons were savages, right? Numero uno says, hey, Toe, any chance that dummy Keanu will have Rumble simulcast set up for her show Wednesday night? I'll talk to her. Bocephus, the Negromancer, says, Aaron raids more than a few holy sites. Oh, I get it. Holy. $2 from the Grand Poobah says, if we're going to be talking about the Crusades, why not hear from someone who was there? Where's Frank? What's he got to say about all this? You know what? You know what? For later shows, I'll make sure I have Frank's. I'll make sure I have Frank hanging up right there. I'll get a hook for Frank, and I'll keep him hanging right there. By the way, if you lost us there for a second during that clip, I apologize. OBS did take a shit for a little on-off. They took OBS took a little bit of a dump on us today. Sorry. But if it didn't affect you at all, then fuck it. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Enjoy the show. All right, we got 3 stories left, then we're going to get out of here. Maybe 4, 5, 6. Oh, God, I got a few things we got to talk about. A few sports-related items. Did you guys see the Tyrese Halliburton Achilles tear in the Game 7 of the finals last night? This was fucking sad. Tyrese Halliburton, big superstar for the Indiana Pacers. This is right after Jason Tatum tore his Achilles in the playoffs. There was one other Achilles tear during the playoffs as well. I can't remember. Halliburton, Tatum. It wasn't Steph. That's not what Steph. Steph just had like a hamstring strain. But there's been some pretty nasty Achilles tears. And it's leading some people to say that maybe the NBA ought to shorten their season, that a lot of these guys are wearing down. But, I mean, this is what sports always does. Sports always overreacts whenever there's like an outlier. And, we don't have NBA players popping their Achilles over and over in the playoffs every year. This was a freak season. This shit happens. Unfortunately, in basketball, more so than football, you blow out your Achilles, you're never really the same again. It's a career, maybe not career-ending injury, but it's a career-altering injury. That's for sure. I don't know how much you know about basketball, but the Achilles is kind of important in that particular sport. So this is Tyrese Halliburton in Indiana's loss in Game 7 to Oklahoma City last night.
Halliburton's hurt right away when he fell.
Oh, fuck.
Of course, that strained calf, he's in pain, so emotional.
By the way, before we watch this, I want you to remember as you watch that man lie on the ground, pounding the floor, I want to remind you that 2 years ago, Kirk Cousins walked his ass off the fucking field with a torn Achilles. He limped off the field and said his foot didn't feel right. The motherfucker had a torn Achilles, and he walked his ass off the field under his own power.
It's the right calf,
shit.
right away.
That's brutal, man, because that torn Achilles is just like you go to push off that foot like you have a million times, and it's not there. It just goes. That's horrifying. There's no warning. There's no, here it is this time. It's coming now. It's just you go to push off a foot, the whole thing gives out on you, and it's just not there. And that was, I mean, that terrible injury for Tyrese Halliburton, and he'll probably never be the same again. Terrible for Indiana's Game 7 hopes last night because that happened in the first quarter. Just bad all the way around. Also, I don't know if you heard, John Jones retired from UFC. He was going to have to face Tom Aspinall, and he decided instead to retire from the sport, retire sort of undefeated. I mean, technically he has a loss, but it was for throwing a 12-6 elbow on a downed opponent. John Jones retires with one loss in the sport. One of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. Beat Stipe, won the world heavyweight title, undisputed. He was going to have to fight Aspinall. Aspinall said, I'm going to retire John Jones without even fighting him. He was right. John Jones, instead of fighting Aspinall, decided to retire. Some people are calling him a pussy. They're calling him a chicken shit. But, unfortunately, John's late 30s now? He's getting up there. And, when you retire as a champion, you're always going to be ducking somebody. There's always going to be a number one contender. And if you retire, if you're ready to tap out of the sport, there's always going to be somebody you're ducking. I would have liked for him to fight Aspinall, but Blades, Curtis Blades just won a fight this weekend. He's the number 5 ranked heavyweight in the world. Maybe he would have been due for a match against John Jones eventually. And then if John Jones retired after the Aspinall fight, well, then he's ducking Blades. So you're always ducking somebody. Also, I don't know if you heard, but Simone Biles deactivated her Twitter account. Remember she had that back and forth with Riley Gaines about trans people in sports and all of this, and she ended up just getting off of it. Remember, this is the same Simone Biles who quit in the Olympics because she didn't win gold, and so she quit the rest of it. She said, no, I'm not competing. And they said, well, she's got the twisties. No, she doesn't. She's a woman, so they made excuses for her. She was a sore loser, and she quit because she couldn't win every one of her golds. If a man had done the same thing that Simone Biles did, he'd still be getting shit and being called a quitter. So I'm sorry. This is kind of in her nature. When Simone gets confronted or Simone has to take an L of any kind, she just kind of runs off and quits. That seems to be her MO. Did you get a chance to watch Cena's pipe bomb promo? Yes, I did. I woke up at 12 something at little after midnight because I was sleeping in a camper and my 6-year-old daughter was in this. There was this queen size fold out bed and I had to sleep on that. And my 6-year-old was in there. And I was getting elbowed in the face. I was getting smacked. If you've ever slept with one of your young children, if you've ever slept in the same bed with them, There's elbows, there's slaps, there's feet, there's kicking. So I woke up. I couldn't get back to sleep. And I decided to go through Twitter, and one of them was John Cena had done kind of a recreation or a parody of CM Punk's pipe bomb promo, and the roles were reversed this time. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a cool nod to something from my old days as a wrestling fan. All right, Chad Buzamok's got a clip that we've got to watch. We'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to go through the chat just a little bit. Numero Uno says, Kirk Cousins probably had one less bone to worry about. It's extra painful. Oh, Jimmy the Greek. Oh, Jimmy. With that extra bone. 09 Canyon says Hot Balls is retiring. No, Hot Balls is Derek Lewis. Hot Balls is Derek Lewis. Shut up, Chad Buzamok. I always fuck up her name. It's going to happen. Just accept it. Twisties girl. Numero Uno says Riley Gaines is a dumb cunt grifter. Made her whole life about tying for third with a trans. Wah, fuck off. I thought she tied for fifth. Oh, there he goes. He says, sorry, he tied for fifth. Root says, Aaron looks like he's about to sell me on a piece of shit convertible. Yeah, but it gets good mileage and everybody looks better with the top down. And, you know, you can save miles on it when you drive that Chrysler Sebring only in the summer months, and then you can put it away in the winter and save it. It'll last longer. How's that? All right, let's go to Chad Buzamok's clip. And let's go to, I just saw something very funny on Twitter, too. I'm just leaving it alone. It's not part of my epiphany from this weekend. All right, let's, God, that shirt does look amazing. I look fantastic. Fuck you. All right, this is a Chad Buzamok clip. I'm sure it's not edited. I'm sure it was taken in its full and proper context. Here we go. I just grab onto other people's cocks, milk them for everything they were, swallow all the gravy. Oh, suck my dick. I feel like that was taken from other spots and it was kind of spliced together. I don't feel that was I don't feel like that was legit, but hey, I could be wrong. Sanford's son with $50 says Twister page. Let's go. Oh boy. All right. Sanford with $50. That's 40, 55. We are 60 ahead for tomorrow night. Holy shit. Thank you, guys. My Lost Interest says no splicing. That was a clean edit. All right. Fair enough. Chad Buzamok says your words. $2 from Numero Uno. Josh Denny fan says, what's the epiphany? I missed it. Is that why we're watching dumb religious shit now? No, I had an amazing weekend camping with my family. I saw friends this weekend. I've got, just beautiful, amazing people in my life. And it's just, I couldn't be more blessed and lucky. And I've kind of realized, like last week kind of made me realize that I'm just weighing myself down with petty resentments and just petty feuds and engaging in just silly, like petty past beefs. And it's like, just let it go. Like, just let it and forgive. Let it go and forgive, but also apologize. Forgive and apologize, move on. What other people do with it, that would be up to that guy. But like for me, I just went, man, shit's too good. Shit's too good. And that shit goes, it like weighs on your soul like toxic sludge. And just, so I've been working on a little speech. I've been working on a little thing to read out, and I'm really excited about it. And I talked to my attorney today. Everything's all set to go. I'm really excited. Budman says anger is a drug. Exactly. Anger's a drug. So I know that for internet people, they're going to go, that's gay. I fucking, right. Because you thrive on drama. you feed on drama, you feed on anger and hostility and resentment. Don't do that. Follow me and everything is all right. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night. Plus, there's only one way to prosper in the eyes of those that hate you, and that's to let go of resentments, forgive, and give forgiveness, and want to be, and apologize, and let it all die. Numero uno with $2 says you're weighing yourself down with gas station food, retard. Well, that too. We could that probably should be part of the epiphany. Hobo Chili says, what is this going to be, your Mike Schmidt speech with two bum knees? I told you, you internet folk, you are my fans. I love hanging out with you. You are viewers of my program. But man, just being around my family and my friends and my kids and all that, it's like, ain't nobody going to take this shit away from me. Like, nobody can take this away. It's a beautiful thing. And all you're going to do with any other extracurriculars is you're just going to weigh down your own soul. You know, those other people that you think you're hurting, they're going to kill themselves over, feud and resentment and anger and hostility, all these other people in your world. Let's go to numero uno with $2. Says, okay, let's say an opportunity arises where you could meet Melton for a drink at Stoney's. You down? I would ask him, I go, what's going on with you? Like, what do you think it is with you? Like, what's in your soul? Like, what's in you that causes you to act out this way? Like, what causes you to act out? Because it is an insecurity. You're wanting for something. You need something that you don't have, or that you don't think you have. You probably have it, but you don't think you do. Like, this is very clearly an anger or an insecurity that is manifesting itself in the way you behave, because it's not normal. It's not adult behavior. Like, what do you, that's what I would ask him. I would say, what do you think it is? Because you're dirtying up your own soul. You're hurting yourself. You're driving yourself crazy. Why are you doing? Why do you think you do that? And it would be interesting. I don't think that he would be able to be honest with himself to answer that question. I don't think he could. I don't think he doesn't have that ability. He doesn't have the ability to be that level of honest with himself. I don't think. All right, we got another one. Here we go. Chad Buzamok with another clip. Let's see if this one's a little more uncut than the other one. And I was getting elbowed in the face. I was getting smacked. If you've ever slept with one of your young children. No. You knew what I fucking meant. You knew what that was, you disgusting pig. This is how I know Buzamok doesn't have kids. NBA's Nick Kerr with $2. That's a real guy. Nick Kerr is Steve Kerr's son. Good segment, Dr. Miami Vice. Thank you. This shirt is not the best shirt to have this conversation in. Numero uno with $2 says, if there's a heart-to-heart at the bar, it better be streamed. Content is king. I don't think he'd be able to really reflect and be honest with himself. Numero uno with $2 says, sorry, I meant heart-to-hunch, of course. Yes, naturally. All right. I think that is it for tonight. Are we done? I believe we're done here. Ew. Gross. I just read something so fucking gay. I don't think I can get it out of my head. Why do you guys send me such gay shit? No, I'm not covering that on the show. Oh, why do I have to? I have a morning show to prep. And you send me, no, I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. Oh, shit, I got to read a page, don't I? Sanford's son paid for a page. This is how we're going to end the show today. Numero uno with $2 says, we got to get you on Fish Tank somehow, Toe. You couldn't pay me enough to put me on fucking Fish Tank. Unless you had me as like one of the counselors. I want like an Alex Stein role. I ain't going to be a cast member. No fucking Fish Tank. I'm too normal for those people. So Naked Twister, the fuck book. This is from Sanford and Sons, $50. After the two teams sat back down and everybody had their wine glasses topped up, because of course the pervs have to get themselves drunk to do their degeneracy, Maddie continued with her instructions for the next round. So as you can see, she smiled, the game has a tendency to get you tied up in some pretty imaginative close contact positions. I thought to make it even more interesting in the next round, we might try it without clothes. Some people from both sides of the mat began darting their eyes around the circle, already thinking about who they hope to get hooked up with. Now, at events like this, the people are always middle-aged and ugly. It's never like attractive people. You never see like a ripped dude or a really stacked chick or any. It's always just deflated tits and old flabby dudes. It's never. I know most of you pretty well, Madison continued. And I chose you specifically because you're pretty open-minded about these things. Whores. Some of you have already participated in a similar type of group interaction at my last nude blindfolded party game. Oh, she's devious. But if any of you are hesitant to expose yourself in front of the group, you're welcome to remain clothed and sit out the action while you enjoy the rest of the show. Or a normal person. Most of the guys simply nodded their heads with a sly smile while I listened to the escalated breathing from the girls around me, indicated their willingness to get involved. Is this going to be a unisex sort of thing, or? Marco asked, eager to mix it up with some of the girls he was eyeing up on the other side of the mat. You pervert, Marco. It's funny you should mention that, Marco, Maddie grinned. I thought to make it even more interesting, we do it a little differently each round. I'm thinking first we do just the girls, then just the guys. No, it's no. Just dicks and balls all over no. Then we finish up with a mixed group. I know some of you like to swing one way or the other. So this way everybody will have a chance to mingle with their preferred partners. There you go, guys. There's our page for the end of the night. And it's 8:30, so I'm leaving. Goodbye. Thank you very much for being here tonight. You guys are amazing. We ended up $65 ahead for tomorrow. Holy shit, I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your night.